This is Alizabeth Leng-Barton of Certified Credits Talk Data to Me podcast live at MBA with Ken Tromer of Experian. He is a verification specialist, and today we're here to talk about the Experian Verify. How you doing, Ken?
I'm terrific, Ali. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. We're very excited to have you here. So, we're hearing a lot about VOE, and we were just talking earlier about the different types of VOE. So let's just get started with, number one, what is Experian Verify for those who are not familiar?
Yeah, be happy. So what we kept hearing in the marketplace over and over again is that they want to be able to do a verification without having to bother the borrower, without having to get the borrower to be engaged in some type of experience, putting in their credentials.
Right.
They want it to be instantaneous. And we know that the challenge of verifications have always been it takes a lot of time, possibility of fraud, and it can delay the closing.
Right.
So we heard that loud and clear, and about a year and a half ago, we decided to jump into this space.
Okay.
I like to refer to it as the instant verification of income and employment.
Okay.
You compare that to the manual verification of income and employment, which really you have to throw people at, right? You've got to put resources toward it, and you hope to God
man hours,
that somebody's going to respond to your request.
Right.
And there's been very limited competition in this space.
Okay.
And so what we kept hearing over and over again is we want an alternative. We want an alternative to the other instant provider, and we want an alternative to the manual verification of income and employment. And so we didn't just dip our toe in the shallow end. We jumped in head first into the deep end. And when I say that, I mean that we have invested a lot of money, a lot of time, and we've hired all the right people to do so.
Right.
So we came out with Experian Verify a year ago, April, and we now have over 43 million records.
Wow, okay.
And we're going to be building that probably by the end of the year. We'll be close to 50 million.
What's the hit rate currently on it?
It's a great question. So that's what all the lenders want to know.
Right.
And that just means, how do I translate how many records you have, how many times I'm actually going to get a report back from you? And I'll say that in the mortgage space, we're doing really, really well. We started out somewhere in the 15% rate. We're already above 23%.
Oh, wow.
A typical mortgage lender, that's what they can expect.
All right. I think that's really interesting because when you pair that with a product like our Cascade VOE, you increase that chance that you're going to get a hit.
That's exactly right.
And so what ends up happening is you have a beautiful relationship between, the Experian Verify, and then if you don't get that hit, there's no need to worry.
Right. You
have another product backing it up, or it could go to a consumer permission. It could go to a manual, and our team will do the manual. So it's really interesting to hear that, that's a pretty high percentage, 23%.
And growing.
And growing.
Yeah. For every million records that you are able to obtain, it's about another percentage.
Okay.
And so we already think we're in discussions to buy more. We bought 3 employer services companies.
Right.
So that's unique to Experian only. Those are records that you can't get from anybody else.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons we ask lenders to put us at the top of the cascade.
Right.
So there's a couple of reasons to put us at the top of the cascade.
Right.
Of course, those unique data records is very motivating.
Right.
But how about a lower cost? And so if we can do it
especially in this market.
In this market, it's very, very important.
And it's so hard to put the fees for VOE into the consumer fees because when you're in compliance, you can't put undisclosed fees. You have to have the set fee it's going to be. And you can't just ballpark it.
Right.
You have to know. You have to be able to back it up. And so it's nice to have that lower cost because you're possibly not going to be able to get that back whenever you have closing costs.
No, absolutely. And then another benefit is if we don't own the record, there's no charge. So another way to save money. So you come to us. If we don't have it, no hit, no charge.
Yeah.
So another
very
way to
cool.
save
So we
some
talked a little bit about the instant verification with Experian Verify. We mentioned manual, lots of man hours. It takes time. You're going probably into lengthening the process 3, 5, or more days. But we haven't touched on that other portion of verification. So the 3 types of verification. What is our third?
It would be a consumer permission product that we're also coming out with. And so we're looking to take the same report that they're used to. And by the way, these reports are Fannie certified for DMC. So if they want, and we're soon to have our Freddie certification.
That's great.
But imagine if you can, to capture instead of 23%, what about 85%?
Okay.
So the way we do that is we make it very simple, and all a borrower needs to know is who their employer is.
Oh, wow.
And so what we're going to do is come into the system, put down your name, address, social security, what you're going to do in the 1003 anyway.
Right.
So if we don't have an instant, cascade down and ask one more question, and that is who's your employer. We'll tell you who your payroll provider is
Okay.
and ask you for your credentials. If you don't know your credentials, we'll have a simple method of getting those credentials, and we can capture up to 85% hit
Wow,
rate
that makes it a lot less intrusive on the borrower.
And it's a great experience.
Right. We're talking about this consumer experience and creating that
Absolutely.
for your borrower. When you do that, it's easy.
And that's what we hope. I love the word easy. So let's make it easy. Let's put it in the loan officer's workflow.
Yeah.
Or on a POS, let's put it in the borrower's workflow. And by the time they're finished, they have very little documentation that they have to send into the lender.
Oh.
So.
Well, I learned something new here today, so thank you very much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks.
And thank you
I
so
love
much
talking
for joining
verification,
us.
So invite me back anytime.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Alex.